Hey, welcome back to Design Gist podcast, where African design finds its voice. My name is Annie.
And I'm Elsie. Welcome back or welcome if you're new here. Think of us as still friends who love to talk about divine.
Before we get into today's main conversation, we are going to ease in the way we always do with our product thumbs up and product thumbs down segments. Elsie, we kind of need like confetti or like applause or celebration or something when we say product thumbs up and thumbs down. I feel like we need it.
If it's product thumbs down, is it going to be a confetti? It will be like, kind
Fair
of.
enough. Fair enough, actually. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, anyway,
Yeah.
what do you have for me? What do you have for us? Actually, not
Um,
me. Hmm.
I have a product thumbs down. And
Mm.
yeah, I have a thumbs down. Like, it's going to be for, what's it called? Conference at leisure. Conference. Yeah. I can't believe that
Okay.
in this big 2026 where where Notion, what's the other one? ClickUp, for instance, is still doing their job. You now have an app where I have to click on a button just to edit a document and then click on a button to save it. Like, doesn't, no, now. Even Google Docs doesn't even
Oh,
do that. Yeah, I don't like that.
okay.
Also, generally, the
Okay.
Atlassian, apps. I don't know why they have to separate it. It doesn't, to me, it doesn't work well. I still prefer, I know you don't like me to say it, but I still prefer Notion to them because everything should be one on one app. I should be able to do everything at once. I don't want to, I
Mm,
don't, I
mm,
don't have to
mm.
be going to different places for it. I understand maybe they're trying to make it like, um, just dedicated apps, but it doesn't just, to me, it doesn't just, no, it doesn't right.
Honestly, that's why I laughed when you said it because as soon as you said it, and I remembered why you said, I hope it's not the same product thumbs down you're
You're
about to say.
kidding
Because we
me.
were, I've forgotten the old hassle we had. The old problem we had. What
Yeah.
were we even trying to do?
Oh my God.
We're having a
We're trying
meeting,
to first,
right?
yeah.
I've forgotten what we're doing.
I
Well, I
think
know
we're trying to
it was a
create,
headache.
we're trying to create like this document so that I can also like work on it with you. And then
Yeah.
I was just finding it very difficult to log in. First of all, I was finding it difficult to log in with my phone. And then secondly, even when I'm on, oh my God, just gave us a lot of
It's
issue that particular day.
that I think that one was an issue of which is kind of two thumbs down there because it's an issue of access. We don't know what each member of the team has access to. So I think that's two now because one is that one you said about editing a document. You have to first, which is crazy, save. And then now there's access issues. Yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense. It sucks. Actually, it
Oh.
sucks. Sorry.
So
I
what have you like? Do you have thumbs up
I
or
don't have a
thumbs down?
thumbs down.
Oh,
I don't
that's
have a
nice
thumbs
then.
down, but
So you
I
balance it up.
swear I balance it because I even have two thumbs up, and you won't even
Oh,
believe where I'm going with the second one. I swear you
oh
won't believe where I'm
my.
going with the second one. But the first one,
Okay.
product thumbs up, you might already know about this as well. It's on Wikipedia basically. So if you go
Um,
on Wikipedia, I don't know if it's every single time you go on there, but there are sometimes when you go there to read, they are basically begging us to keep them floating. Have you seen they are begging, like asking us to
yeah,
donate some money so they can stay in
yeah. I
business? Okay.
think I've
Oh,
seen
you've
it.
seen it?
Yeah, I've
Okay.
seen it.
I don't know if they've done something new to it, but recently when I went to read about something, I really enjoyed the choreography they did to get us to donate money. Like I didn't
Oh,
donate
really?
money. I didn't donate any money at the end of the day. I will still go back and do it when I have money. But the way they did it, the way they designed the prompts that will say,
Yeah,
oh, can you please help us?
yeah.
I find it very tasteful. It
Oh,
was
that's
not
nice.
annoying. Yeah, like you think it would be very annoying, but maybe because they are
Yeah,
designers, I appreciated it. I appreciated the way they were down to saying, "Oh, do you want us to remind you? Drop your email address." I liked the whole process. The flow was nice. It was nice. Like I didn't feel super bad that I can't read what I came here to read. It just felt like,
yeah.
oh, they cared about me by doing this.
Oh,
Should
that's
I
nice though.
should I go to my second product thumbs up
Yeah, yes, please. I haven't been on Twitter for a bit,
for
so
ages?
that's why I haven't, not like for age, but for a while, sha, but that's why I don't
Mm-hmm.
really know if they updated their page. Yeah, but it's fine.
Go and try it. Maybe after,
Yeah,
just
I
try
will.
and look for something now. You see them begging for, I hope they get the money they're
This
looking
them
for, Sha.
begging. Yeah,
No, I didn't
I'll
mean to say
try.
begging, but it's the way it is, you can't call it anything other than begging. But anyway,
Yeah.
not to waste too much time. My second product thumbs up is a song, actually, but it was designed
Oh,
by
no,
a
I will
human
not.
being.
I will not know where you're going with it.
It was a song, it was designed by a human being using AI.
Oh,
And the name of the song, I think, if I want to tell you the name of the song, I will send you the link after this call. But for anyone who gets this reference, the name of the song is called Oluwa Shakira. That's the name of the song.
you?
And I really liked, and I really liked, you know how we say
I can't
we hate
believe it.
AI. I swear, we know how we say we hate generative AI that is,
Yeah.
making music, making all of that. I think this was a creative way to use AI. So basically, Elsie, let me just describe what happened. There was a woman
Mm,
dancing in the church, and somebody was videoing her. You know how all these media departments where they video you dancing in
yeah.
the church. So
Yeah.
they were videoing this lady, and she was twisting her waist.
Uh-uh.
So see, person go put them for TikTok. Like someone put the video on TikTok. So
Yeah.
the TikTok comment was what was used to make the lyrics of the song.
Oh, that is
And
a
it was
common thing.
amazing.
Okay.
Oh, it's a
So,
common thing. Oh, I'm new to
yeah.
this. So it's
Is
a
that kind of,
common thing.
no, what I mean is a common thing for people to take actual like messages or whatever like that and turn it into music. That's what I mean by
I'm
the
just seeing
common
this for
thing.
the first time.
Oh,
You know why I'm so mind blown? Because they turned it into actual church music. Like it sounded like all these Nathaniel Bassey,
that's
who
crazy though. I've
again do
not
we
had that
know?
one.
Mercy Chinwo, kind of. I will send it to you. But the thing is, it's a bit Yoruba, but anyway, you will still be able to follow because the person was using the TikTok comments to make the music, and I was just like, nah, this is crazy. This is how we are meant to use AI, not for real business, just for like fun and stuff.
That's
Yeah,
crazy. Yeah,
yeah, but
that's
that's it,
nice.
Sha. Okay. That was products thumbs up and down. And if you're listening, you can write in to us as well. Let's know what you're feeling this week in terms of maybe a piece of product design that has wowed you, maybe a service. It could be a service, which is what we are getting into today, basically, to let you know that design is not just, visual. It could be a process design as well. Basically anything that's either wowed you or has frustrated you and you can't figure out why it's still up or whatever. Anything it is,
Mm-hmm.
just send it to us. I think you can use the hashtag product thumbs up, hashtag product thumbs up, hashtag product thumbs down, or you drop it in our comments wherever you are watching or listening.
Yep.
So, Elsie, that is out of the way.
Yeah.
Can we get into today's topic?
Let's go.
We're ready. All right,
Yeah.
cool. So basically, we don't have a name for this at the time of this recording, but what we want to talk about basically is the other types of design that nobody. So, why did we start thinking about this? I think it was the tweets. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can read the tweets. Okay,
Yeah, you should.
this is August, right? So this tweet was made about
Mm-hmm.
2 months ago, June 2026, by someone called Oriola Bassett. He's a product designer actually and a brand expert, according to his bio. And
Oh,
let me just read what the tweet says so that you can get a sense of where we are going today. He says, overlooked niches in design nobody talks about. He gives us examples like pharmaceutical packaging, um, it says there are strict regulations there, almost no creative competition. Another example he gives is wayfinding design, which is something me and Elsie have talked so much about on previous episodes. That's things you'd find in airports,
yeah.
hospitals, campuses. And he
Campus
says they
again.
pay well. I didn't even read this. He says they pay well and they rarely find specialists. We didn't know. He said campuses pay well and rarely find specialists.
I
He
doubt
gives
if
another.
is among, but
I swear
let's.
that's why I was kind of surprised. Like, is it Unilag? Okay, Unilag might be progressive like that. Well, I don't know. I think there are other types here: agricultural branding, millions of farms, cooperatives, and FMCG staples with zero design investments. It says there's technical illustration, like engineering manuals. I'll add one thing here: user guides. But then I guess
Mm-hmm.
that goes into user guides. Like maybe you buy a
Yeah.
microwave and But
Yeah.
then the question now is which Nigerian company is making a microwave? That's the next question. But anyway. So he says to land to take it all home, he says when the logo space, that's logo designers, when they have 10,000 designers, these spaces have 10. So that's where we are going with this today.
Yeah.
Because it seems like when we ask people in the design space in Nigeria, what is a designer? Who is a designer? What do they do? It kind of seems like the definition is always narrowed towards people who make things look good. So, and we believe that it's more to design than making things look good. Is making things look good is a skill, right, Elsie? It's
It
not,
is.
yeah. So it's not like a knock on that, but we want
Yeah.
to expand the conversation beyond the visual side of things, the colors, the clean interfaces, the attractive things, and talk about that today. So let's get into it.
So one interesting thing that I find about this topic is that um I get to find out like other lesser known design niches and um and I did some research and
Hmm.
I I don't know because some of those things that some of those things that the guy was mentioning, I try to like look more into them. I try to see if they're like niches on their own or something else. And so knowing that there are other niches that we don't actually get into, not head of about like the fact that was one of those ones that actually like shocked me when I read the
My
guy's
own was
tweet.
wayfinding. Mine was wayfinding
No.
because I didn't think of it as, oh, this is a designer's role for real, even though you know it on a deeper level.
Wayfinding. That's interesting. Um, let me see. I think mine should be this agricultural store. I understand like
Mm,
agricul. No, like in a way, like I didn't think of it as a designer. I guess it's a branding store anyway, so it should be part of it. But thinking of as
okay.
a yeah, I think maybe
But even though it's branding, it still feels technical, like not technical, but specialized because,
no. So for me, when I
okay,
say branding, I'm grouping them as part of design. I think this because of graphic,
yeah,
branding. I'm talking of, I mentioned some of those things, so I'm just grouping them as, okay, this is part of what you're talking about. Illustrators, for instance, so it's not just about
yes.
the normal design as we always talk about, it's not about UX design, basically.
Mm.
But I found it very interesting. I didn't find the way finding too difficult because if you remember when we were in school, that dude was talking about, okay, how will you design an airport, whatever, the design thinking space.
No, wait, be specific. An airport, what?
When you talk about we talked about some things about those things when you give us work to do, design it to make it easier for
Oh,
somebody
okay.
that does not
But
really
even that was
no,
mostly app design now. It was mostly, oh,
no, it wasn't app.
um,
I think we're in different groups
eh,
then. No, it was app. This
yes,
one was I'm at my group. We're supposed to be design. You write like two topics or so. You choose the one you want to talk about and then do it. It's not
yes,
app. The for app one was different, but this one was if you get into okay, I remember it now. He said you should design the journey like when you decide to go on a journey and then till the
yeah.
moment you get on the plane, like if you design that whole
Okay, the
stuff,
process,
the whole
yeah,
process,
the
that kind of
journey
thing.
map.
So yeah, so we have to start like
Okay.
thinking about things that we probably usually don't talk about. Also,
Mm,
um that lady that was talking to us about service design, I think that was one of the things that my brain went in. That's why service design. I understand that wayfinding is one of the issue, like thinking of it as a design, um, as a
practice.
design niche is not very, I don't know, for me,
The
but
reason why I
I
say it's
kind of knew,
surprising,
yeah.
I think I was bringing it back to Nigeria.
Oh,
We are trying to bring it in the context of Africa and Nigeria.
yeah.
Here it's not very surprising. Like
Yeah,
even in
okay,
this
okay.
my house where they live, my house has
You've designed
wayfinding inside.
everything.
Yeah, but in
That's
Nigeria, it's
true.
just something you don't. I was like, really, really. When we go to Nigeria now, we ask people about wayfinding. I don't
No,
think their first thoughts would be, oh, designer, graphic designer should do
no.
this
I think,
because
yeah,
yeah.
sorry, finish.
No, I'm listening. I'm listening. I finished.
Oh, I think that's very interesting because I feel like if we're doing that, right,
Yeah.
that's thing where it feels like so people that have accessibility issues are neglected, like not
Mm,
with disabilities first are neglected, won't be there. For instance, if you're designing it, it might design that, oh, what if somebody is in a wheelchair and coming to the airport, how will they get to the airport?
mm.
That kind of thing. And then they will
That's
make
how those questions get
yeah,
answered. Yes, yes,
yeah,
yes.
you're right. I think when we
Mm,
take it back home, it's not something that we actually think about. I don't think we think about it. I think we just like build, we think about
yeah.
architecture and civil engineering, or about
And
build it and just leave
development.
it.
Let's just
Yeah,
develop. Let's just
just
build.
develop
Yes,
it. That's all.
exactly.
We don't really define experiences or try to think about
Mm,
experiences for people. And I think that's
mm,
really, yeah, you're right. But anyway, apart from that, I think
yeah.
there's also like technical illustrations, which was interesting too to me because I didn't think of it like that. You know, illustration, you'll be thinking of
Mm,
drawing things for like illustrations I used in design or for filmmaking, illustrators of filmmaking, but you wouldn't think that illustrators have like a
mm,
new, yeah. There's one thread I even found out then that I forgot. I said I was going to save it. I don't think I saved it. Reddit, where the guy was talking about how an elderly man he knew that was into arts, whatever. But you know,
mm-hmm,
as the whole, I can't remember exactly what it was he was into. But as the whole landscape keeps evolving,
mm-hmm,
people keep like you have to keep evolving to your teeth or else you're going to be left behind. And so he was talking about how this man like he's now old, very old man, and he eventually was able to transition into I'm trying to look for it, but I can't find it. I don't want to like give you like the wrong
mm. Info.
stuff. Yeah.
Wait,
But
just to okay, finish first. I
no, it's
wanted to
fine.
confirm that is it you know that there's one doctor slash designer like this that I shared with you once that was imagining the human body based on black bodies.
Oh,
Is it
that's
that kind of
cool.
thing you're talking about?
Uh,
Or is it basically does that fall under the technical illustration example?
yeah,
Where,
I
it's
think this
trying to
one.
make it more inclusive in a sense where it's not just white people's
Oh,
anatomy you are referencing all the time.
that's that's interesting. Yeah, I think that really does fall because you said medical visuals and that
Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah,
that
yeah.
really that is a very good example. And that's a very good example to be honest. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, so that's what I
But
was thinking. I
the
found
thread you are looking for, though, what was that about?
oh I can't remember. I thought you forget.
No worry, no worries. If you
Um,
remember, if you see it later, we can always bring it back so that we don't spend too much time on that part. Like if you remember
okay,
it, we can always just yeah.
okay,
Okay. The only I think yeah, the reason why it's interesting for you is the same way it's interesting for me as well.
yeah,
Basically, the opportunity to address the narrow definition of design in our ecosystem, basically. This basically now, as soon as you said it, now I can't stop saying it. Why did you point it out that I keep saying the word?
sorry,
You know,
sorry.
I keep remembering that I'm saying it. Anyway, so like you said as well, when we were in school, we did the masters in user experience design. It really opened my eyes to, what I assumed design used to be or design
Yeah,
was.
yeah,
Like, see, one of the first classes we had I think it was when we used Illustrator and Figma. And I was so happy, like, I was like, oh, I can't wait to do this again and again next week. And I was so surprised to find out that that was the end of the
that was all.
Figma class. It was just one class to show, and that's to
Wow.
show how narrow, like not narrow, but like how it just shows how expansive the definition of design is, that it's not just about saying you are on Figma and you know how to use Figma tools. Like that is not the scope of being a designer at all.
Yeah,
Another thing, is understanding that design at its core is about solving a problem, you know,
yeah,
getting a solution to a problem, getting creative solutions around a problem. I don't
you're
want to
right.
strip it too far back, like by saying, "Oh,
Yeah,
it's not creative at all." It's definitely creative. It's definitely visual. It's definitely tasteful, aesthetic. All of that thing is still there. But I feel like this our conversation today will help us really, really address how narrow the definition of design has become when you talk to people, in our
Yeah.
ecosystem, in our communities. So that's
Mm-hmm.
one thing that excited me. But yeah, I have one question based on what you said earlier around, why do you think these parts are lesser known and the logo designers, the brand designers, the UI UX designers, there are millions of them. Well, no millions, I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
have the
So,
data. Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, I think the fact is like, I would say, um, it's all about information at the end of the day. For instance, the kind of jobs we see out there, like job postings, for instance, it's always
Mm,
based on those ones, like UX
fair
designer
enough.
needed, software designer needed, advanced designer need, all those kind of things, graphic designer needed. We hardly
Mm,
see those other ones. And so it's like, if you don't, how do you also gauge that those ones are existing if you're not like seeing their
mm.
job posting? But then again, how are you going to see their job posting if you're not searching for them exactly? You know? So I think
But
it's
if you
it's
wanted
all
to
boiled.
search for, how would you even search? Like, how would you
That's what I'm
even,
saying. If you don't know them,
what?
how are you going to search for them?
Let me do a quick Google, like, Wayfinder
Bro,
designer in Nigeria.
okay, that's interesting because the way I try to Google like when I was doing my research, try to Google like design niches or whatever design one.
Yeah.
Bro, I was just seeing I didn't see any of these things that they mentioned at all. That's the
You
funniest
know
part.
what?
Yeah,
The thing is, with the brief Google I just did now, they are
yeah.
all hidden. They are all hidden under strange, not strange, well, if you look at it. For example, now, it's people who are doing printing that do things like that. And the people who are doing printing,
Mm,
I wouldn't call them graphic designers.
mm,
It's a real structural problem, I think, Elsie.
yeah, yeah.
That, like, what I mean is, how do I explain this thing now? The people who have all those printing business, I don't really believe they even have design skills. They just have a printing business
I get
and they
what.
are the ones that
Oh,
you get, right?
I
You
get what
see.
you're saying because it feels like
Mm,
what they are what they are doing is printing out signs like exit or
yeah.
whatever. It's not
Artifacts,
about
any kind of artifacts.
exactly. But what we're talking about more is more like designing experiences for people. So it's like I think
Mm,
they are both
mm.
in a way that I think they are different.
No,
I
no,
think
I think I'm not sure. Maybe you get what I'm saying. I'm saying that
mm,
it should be the people who are human-centered designers, the people who beyond human-centered designers, people who even have design principles, they understand design principles. Even the graphic designers should be the ones in charge of, or not in charge, but they should be the ones at the forefront of designing signage, designing uh posters. It was left to all these people who have printing shops. That's where I'm going. Like, and those people who have the printing shops, they are not, they are not, they are not good graphic designers. Like, that's where I was
yeah.
going with that.
But I
That
think
so,
okay.
I'm listening.
I think for me, I understand what you're saying, but for me, I'm thinking that maybe we're thinking of it like differently or something. I don't know. Because for me, I do I understand what you're saying. Let me know if I understand it.
Yeah,
Is that you're talking of if when they say wayfinding designer right now, they are talking
yeah.
about like people who print out all these other like those signs actually. So like the signs you find on the
So I'm not specifically saying that the people who design wayfinding signage in the airports are the people who are printing. I'm saying that if you wanted to first of all look for a job in wayfinding and signage design, you can't find it like, oh, we need a wayfinding designer because the airport or the traffic warden or whoever wants to design that thing, do you know who they will go and give? They'll go and give a printing shop. And the people who are printing shops, I can't defend them and say they have, oh, these people are grounded in human centered
oh
design or graphic design itself before we went enter human centered design. I don't know. See, let me
I
see if
think
I can send you.
I
If
think I get
just look
what
for
you're
printing
saying.
shop. Just Google
No,
printing shop and go to images.
I think like I get what you're saying, but my own point in that is
Mm.
that I think first of all we lack understanding. Like we and by we I mean like us Africans, us Nigerians
Hey,
specifically,
hey,
we lack understanding of.
stray bullets.
It's
Yeah.
not straight. What I'm saying, like understanding of
Understanding of what?
to me, I feel like the understanding of what wayfinding design is all about. Because if you actually look for, like you said, which is right, if you look for those jobs, it should be I'm sure it should be all about printing all those signages or trying to get those things there. But my point is that instead of focusing on that, I feel like we're finding design should have been focused on designing the whole experience. I don't know if you understand.
Exactly.
Eh,
Exactly.
that's
Yeah,
what I'm
we're
saying.
saying the
But
same thing.
yeah, exactly. But then they only concentrate on the signs and say, oh,
On
let
this
us
exactly
let us
on
make
the
it.
image
Yeah,
production. Like we
exactly.
just printed an image. Yes, exactly.
Yes.
See something I just saw here now. There's
Mm,
one we're not shading these businesses. They are just trying to eat, right? They're just trying to make their bread.
mm,
But see, this is a company called Wall Art Nigeria. Wall Art Nigeria. So they specialize
mm.
in wayfinding, signage, design, and production. So basically, you see the way they describe themselves. They said they are a boutique
Yeah.
digital image reproduction company based in Lagos. They won't define themselves as design agencies,
Because
which means
they're just not.
they're probably not thinking about human
No,
centered design or anything like that.
obviously
They're
not.
just producing an image for you. They're
Yeah,
just producing an image for you.
that's exactly.
So
Yes.
so you see what I'm saying now that if a designer wanted to work in these spaces, it's almost like you're going to be dumbing down your skills or your research, everything. They'll probably I don't know how they do things in this world at Nigeria, but I'm sure no one is saying, oh, let's do some research, let's undergo some, user study and so that we can know how best to design wayfinding signage. They're just printing things out. That's what I was
Yeah.
saying that time that it's not easy for you to even how do you even find, who would need those skills? So
Yes.
yeah.
Exactly.
I agree with that lack of information, lack of jobs. Definitely,
Yeah.
that's very true.
I think it's the only way probably that we'll find it is if somebody gets a job working in that particular person and try to introduce it little by little because right now
Hmm.
I don't think I don't think you can find anybody saying, oh, wants a wayfinding designer
I mean,
in
it would
India.
be best as a contract because once you do it, you have done it, right? So you're
Yeah,
not
but trying to
optimizing it or something.
trying to get that them to understand the importance of it too is going to be very interesting.
Mm.
Yeah.
Also,
Okay.
there's something you mentioned that is super important there, where you said kind of like the entire experience. So end to end, as you are entering
Mm-hmm.
the space, wherever you are, like you are always feeling you're never feeling lost wherever you
Yeah.
are. And this is just
Yeah.
for wayfinding or not the other types
That's
of
just
design.
always finding. Yeah.
I swear, I swear. So just to build up on that as well, we've talked
Mm-hmm.
about wayfinding as one particular niche, which we can say is maybe branding or graphic, but I think Elsie, you want to unpack that for us later on. Another thing that I was thinking about so when we said we were going to talk about this was how, you know, we have visual designers that are the majority of our designers, and we
Mm-hmm.
have public services. And by public services, that could mean a lot of things from, how you enter bus to get to one place to another, to how you get your NIN, the process of applying for your NIN. I think we've
Yeah.
also discussed all these things in a previous episode.
Yeah.
If I remember, I'll link people to that. But anyway, where I'm going with this is that we have many visual designers and we have poor public services the way we do in our country. And we are surprised, and like we are all surprised that we have the poor public services that we have. So basically, what I'm saying is that
Mm.
obviously our public services are shitty because we don't have service designers, basically.
Yeah.
And we've
Yeah.
mentioned this thing. You remember that time? I think we are talking about the mobile tech in Africa and the service design gap in Nigeria. That was the name of the episode, if I remember correctly. Yeah. So there's a gap
Mm-hmm.
in
There's a
people who
huge
are
gap.
designers, a huge gap that people who design for end-to-end services being delivered to the public. I don't see them. I actually now even did some research, Elsie, on this
Yeah.
because I wanted to find out, okay, if you want to deliver a service to the public, maybe let's even forget about banks, let's forget about, private companies, the way their process is. Let's talk about civil service, like public civil service, all those kind of things. I
Mm.
went to search, like, do they have designers in the civil service?
That's so
My mom used
funny.
to be a my mom used to be a public servant before she retired. I
Yes.
won't cast where she used to work because she said
Yeah.
that she wants to remain anonymous. But anyway, I shall ask her that are there people like, I described the work of a service designer. I will
Mm.
still describe what that is, but just to build on this point, I described that job for. I said, do you have people like that in the civil service that helps with the delivery of the services you're actually serving the public? She said, that's IT. She just said that's IT. And I was
That's
like,
exactly
oh,
what it
that
is.
makes sense. That's
That's
what
just
it
what
is.
it
Like
is in
it's just
Nigeria.
IT.
IT for
IT, like, oh,
everything.
these are the computer guys, like ICT. So to me,
Yes,
it's
sir.
like two types of problems there because one, the IT they're already assuming that every single piece of innovation or every single piece of solution has to be digital. It has to be something that is done on your phone or your computer. That's
Mm,
the answer to everything. That's the first thing. The second thing is that you don't actually have actual design thinking. People who use design thinking to solve a problem, you don't have them there. That's why you see that everything seems shitty.
no.
Like, to be honest,
Yeah.
because
I
if someone sat down, yeah, I'm listening.
no, it's no, only to just add to what you just said
Mm,
about the IT thing in Nigeria. Like most of the time, even most of these companies that have IT, most
yeah,
of what their work is mostly like in hardware, technical issues, all these kind of things. Like when there
that's
is
true.
technical issues or whatever, they're not even
That's true.
they're not even like designers or anything. They're always like not focused on
They're
that kind
just
of thing.
there, like they just
Yeah,
maybe
if you
like
have
maybe
any issue on
support,
your
help
laptop,
desk.
yeah, it's something
Yeah,
like that. They'd be like, go and
yeah.
call someone from the IT. Those not from the IT.
Though Though I think they are also like the ones they commit like if they want to roll out some kind of digital process, a new digital process, maybe they want to start digitizing
They are the
files or
ones.
is they are the ones they will give. But they
Yeah.
obviously new service designers in there.
That's what I'm saying. They
And yes,
just,
we
yeah.
all sit down and start shouting that the process of doing this is so
It's right.
frustrating. So what who are
Yeah.
the people that's supposed to make it better if it's not designers? But
Yeah.
we think design is just about designing a poster or designing an app. We've kind of narrowed it down to that. And I
I,
feel like that's the gap. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. I think a lot of things that should also like frustrate about this whole topic because if you look at it, it's like information flow is not really there. So it's
Mm.
on our part as designers, we don't know of this niche. There's already like an information like in this information already. But then on the part of the people that like let's say the employers, for instance, they don't even know that
Mm.
this thing is needed. So how do
Mm.
you create jobs in a particular field
Mm.
that when they
Mm.
don't even know that is important to you? You know?
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
that's one of the major issues with this particular topic. Like the flow of information is it's just not there at all. So
It's
I don't
not
know
there.
how.
And
Yeah, I think okay.
another thing I would say, this might be kind of like a shade, I'm sorry, but I want to say the people who are at the forefront of talking about design in the Nigerian context, in the African context, it seems they also kind of, you know, collapse everything into attractive things, colorful things, but not the structural side of things. Because if those people as well are, pushing the conversation beyond, oh, what can I design that can draw the most eyes? What can I design that is super, super, which is good, which are good skills I'll hammer on again. Then I don't see anyone talking about this bit. It's not, I actually found one blog, actually, LC.
Mhm.
I think the guys, not a guy, it's like a group. They're called Lagos Design. Lagos Design. They're on Medium, sha. I think they were the only ones who wrote about, like they were the only ones I saw that were able to tie how Lagos is very frustrating to how there are no service designers in the Lagos civil service,
Is it
and
the
it
one
was
that I sent
brilliant.
to me one time?
Yeah, I think I
No,
must
I
have
think
sent it to you. Yeah,
is it Substack? I think it's Substack though.
it's
Is
a
it
Medium.
Medium?
It was
Oh,
Medium.
yeah,
It was
but
Medium.
okay. I think there are people who knows about this service design thing. The people might not even know
But they
the
are
name.
small.
Yeah, they are
Even the
not.
Medium
But
article now, no one clapped for it. Like it's just, well,
no, but
doesn't mean much, but you get what I
yeah.
mean.
But like you're talking about that one, like even here
Yeah.
where we are, I feel like it's still like an upcoming thing. It's still like an issue. It's not like everybody knows about
Hmm.
service design. Just that here more people know about it, but it's not still like
I don't want to agree. I don't want to
I
agree,
know why you don't
Elsie.
want to agree,
Because
but
look
still
at the
it's
difference
lacking.
between
No,
the UK
no, I'm
and
saying
Nigeria though.
yeah, I know
Yeah.
that, but I'm saying that even here that we are saying is advanced. Those people on service design still
Yes.
had. We were there in that
Yes.
they still had their own
They're still trying
issues with
to
them.
preach it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
They're still
it's
evangelizing. Yeah, yeah,
exactly
yeah.
because they want more people to know about, they want more people to be involved in it, to think about
Mm.
service as a design this thing. So
As a
that means
human centered
the
thing. Yeah.
yeah, so it's like let's it's like it's not it's generally still like although here, like you said, there are a lot of design that goes into experiences like in the airport or in schools or even in your house where you're living. They think about
Mm.
if anything happens, how are you going to get out? They think about this kind of thing. So mostly,
So I think we need to actually we've gotten to a place where we need to define what service design is because it's a larger part of
and it's
you know
funny
the
how
niche.
sorry, it's funny how we've
Yeah,
studied on
yeah.
service design. If she's not the only design niches that we
It's
saw here,
not the
but
only
we've
this you
concentrated on
see.
it because
So and see how many jobs. Look at how many opportunities, how many friction
yeah,
it just eases because we brought it up. But anyway, to
yeah,
define service design for anyone who's new to it completely is the practice of designing the end-to-end experience of a service. So it's not it's good goes beyond you designing a single touch point of an app screen or a website, but everything that a person must go through to get their needs met. And it
yeah,
centers on the human being. It's very like human centered, like, I need to know how this person would experience this thing and I need to take into account everything they might go through and make sure it's the best possible it can be. So
yeah.
that's what service design is. I feel like it's a larger, like it's a bigger umbrella that even user experience design,
Yeah,
uh
I think the
user
issue.
interaction design,
uh
that's where everybody falls under. But we don't see that larger picture. We just collapse everything into the visuals. Sorry, you said the issue.
No, I think the thing with service design, I think they mostly concentrate on like services, basically designing services or designing
Mm.
those still experiences, but because UX design is user experience design, but then service design is just designing the experiences of services. So it's about like, for instance, if um those every other thing you'll be talking about falls under service design. Because if you look at it,
Yeah.
it's a service, it's not about apps, it's not about like trying to
It's
draw
not about a
apps for
poster.
you, or it's not about a poster, exactly. It's not about one, it's about the whole experience. So
Yeah, which is
I think
why
that's,
I believe, it's an umbrella because the service designer can create opportunities for the graphic designer and the app designers to work together, can create opportunities for the wayfinding
mhm.
mapper or designer and the graphic designer to work together. Like there's so much opportunities and like
There's so much of
possibilities
it.
there.
There
There's so
really
much
is.
there, but I don't think those roles, like you said, those careers, again, I don't think they exist in our country yet. There's
Yeah,
something else you said when we first started chatting about this topic that I wanted to remind you. You said we copy solutions from abroad to our own context a lot. Like we look at what this thing is working in the UK. Let's come and do it here, but we skip
mhm.
that design thinking part. We skip that
Yeah,
design thinking part, and it shows.
it
It
shows.
shows that we just adapted some. We didn't adapt. We just copied
Oh, I
because there's a
remember
difference between
it.
copying and adapting. You remember?
Yeah, yeah. I
You
think, yeah,
remember?
I was talking about how we actually, like you said, just copy things. And it's good that we look up to people and say, oh, they're doing this thing, it's working well for them. But instead of just copying
Yeah,
those things and bringing it back home, why not look at it and then try to look at how to adapt it to our own use, to our own people,
and
instead
that's
of
where
just
design comes in.
that. Yes, that's where it really, really comes in because it's like, um, how do you make it more us, more Africa, more us?
How do
Not,
we how do we
not,
define it? How do
not
we
even
I
in,
mean, how do we frame
yeah,
the solution or the problem? How do we frame the
to
problem
work
in
for
our
our own
context?
people, because it's
Yeah.
not even about like making, let's say for instance, it's not about like making a building African
Mm.
patterns, for instance, or making, it's just about no,
What the
because
hell?
when you talk about it, you think
That's
that's
the
people
AI.
might think
That's the
that's what we're
AI
talking about.
version.
Yeah, but
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
what I mean is like, how does this work in our own system? For instance, if you look
Mm.
at the traffic road, for instance, like the road designs, like those fines
Street
or
furniture.
fines.
Street
No,
furniture. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
okay, yes. So those things, like, you basically just took it from here and then just went home and pasted it, but nobody enforces it. First of all,
Doesn't
that's
even
even one
work.
thing, and secondly, it's supposed to start if we're adapting it to our own, knowing that our own road is so, I don't know, the way we build our roads, the way the people are so much on the road, you know, we have to adapt those things to meet our own needs, not just paste it there, you know. So
Mm.
it's not just like,
I have one concrete example. I have one
oh,
example actually
okay,
for
all
this.
right.
I'll quickly run through it. It was a company in Nigeria. This is a
Mm-hmm.
company in Nigeria. They went to buy a subscription to a Canadian software. So it's a Canadian. I won't say the name of anything to protect everyone
Mm-hmm.
involved.
Yeah.
But they went to buy a Canadian software that will help them to do their work. But what they now found when they started using it was that the way the Canadian software was configured, it was using the nomenclature, like the is it nomenclature or taxonomy? Like the way the Canadian jobs, the way they call Canadian jobs. For
Oh,
example, you're filling a form, they're not asking you what is your occupation or something, or what is your field. You now see
mm.
something like actuary, maritime, engineering, biology.
Oh,
That list.
yeah,
So the way
yeah,
that thing was configured is for Canada. So
yeah,
when they use it in their day-to-day workflows, it was giving them issues because it's not the way Nigeria's work this thing was configured, or the way we call our jobs. That's not how it was configured. So which meant every time they're always going to support team of that Canada
that's true.
product or the Canadian
Yeah,
software. And the problem is we're on different time zones. So it was
yes,
always difficult for them to reach out and get help. It was very frustrating. A
that's a
service
very good
designer
example.
or someone who is using design thinking framework or someone who is even I think a lot of people might listen to us and say, oh no, this is just common sense, right? But that's the thing. It's not just common sense. That's the work of someone who would do that thinking for you, who is a designer. That
Mm-hmm.
person would have already mapped out, oh, we need a software for, so and so. Oh, let's see. Who is this for? Who wants to use this? What are the current pain points they're facing? How might we design this to match their that's the kind of like
That's
elementary work
true.
or foundational work that would have been done before you spend millions of money,
Yeah.
billions even, to procure
In,
the
start
software that they got.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah, I've started using it.
that's a very good example to be fair because it's like what they could have done easily would have been to get the software and then adapt it to theirs before
Or
using it.
even build their own thing. Even
Let's say
build their own
they don't
thing
know
to
how
match
to
your own
build because
context.
we like things like, let's say they don't want to build or they don't know how to, or the thing they don't know how to build, but why not
Yeah,
exactly, you can even use that one as as a example to build what you want instead of using
you
it
can.
as
Yeah,
your own. You just anyway, that's very good example and we see it a lot.
yeah. So that's and it's just this is working in Canada. Let's bring it to Nigeria. Let's bring it like basically, Sha, that's majorly what I had to
Yeah.
say. You mentioned stuff about niches. I'm very curious what you found around, how you said agricultural branding. Is this
Okay.
classified as, branding
That's
or
that was the major question I had about this whole thing. Like, okay, is right
yeah?
agricultural branding. What do you mean?
You mentioned in the beginning of the when we started talking, you were saying,
Okay.
oh, for agricultural branding, for example. Sorry, just so people who are not can follow us what we're saying.
Mm,
We were thinking about how do these fall under niches? Is it that branding is a bigger niche where agricultural branding now falls under? Or, for technical
okay.
illustration now, which is another example, is this under graphic design? Like, how do those niches really, really work? Is there a shared definition
Yeah.
for all of this?
That was the question I had
Yeah.
also going into this thing where I was just like, all these things that this guy is mentioning, for instance, that on the tweet, is it is it that
Yes.
all these things are under a bigger niche or is it that they are standalone? But when I started my
Mm,
design, basically, also my design, when I started my research, I found out that
yeah.
it feels like they're under, like you said, like branding, and then you have like agricultural branding, you have other things. I think that because every time I try to find design niches or try to figure it out, it will give me like
Yeah.
web design niches, and then to start bringing things under web design that is not very like popular, or to give me this one design, graphic design, for instance, and they start giving me other things under it. So I think they are all like probably from the way either that's what way it is, or that's just the way people generally think of it. And if you
And
look at,
yeah.
Okay.
I wanted
I
to
wanted
say,
to say,
that we have a problem. Sorry, we have a problem with
oh,
in the design space. Like, you can see one thing like this. That's like 20 names, but no one wants to say what's the real name of this thing. What's the real name of this framework?
yeah,
What's the real name of this? So that's another
yeah,
issue. But yeah, I'm listening.
yeah. So all I say, like for instance, you see pharmaceutical packaging, and then they will not be
Yeah,
like pharmaceutical packaging sounds like a branding issue or a graphic design. I don't know which of them does packaging, but um, so I feel like it's like
it's
a
brand.
bigger,
It's both brand
yeah.
and graphic. It's both brand and graphics
Well,
because,
funny enough, I don't know
but then
how it works.
graphics and brand. Graphics is,
I feel like
or let's say
most graphic
branding is
designers
under
brand.
graphics.
Yeah, I feel like most graphic designers do branding, so I don't know. And but yeah,
Hmm.
so that's just what I mean. Like it's not like packaging is not like a design niche on its own like that. It's just that
Mm.
it's under those. It's just like I feel like this tweet is about areas in design or design as an
Yeah.
umbrella that people don't actually know about. Or people don't actually so it's very like not competitive at all. It's not populated. Meanwhile, there are other
Which
niche. Mhm.
Yeah, and just as you were saying that, what came to my mind is that if you're trying to be a designer in this day and age where design kind of seems very democratized because of AI, because of many tools that can quickly bring up something, I feel like
Yeah.
if you can move into these areas and define your skill and like be
Mhm.
more, what's the word, specialized, I feel
Yeah.
like it makes you stand out faster. Because
It does.
everybody is a brand designer. Like everybody can design a logo, everybody can design a
Yeah.
website. So if you're moving into these other niches, I feel like it's the smartest thing to do right now.
Yeah. I also
And
saw
my own is service design. That's my own, the one me I'm pushing for the most. Service design.
that's a good
Yeah,
one. That's a really good one. I think someone that says all he does for job
yeah.
is designing dashboards for like these banks. That's what he's doing.
That's his own
Someone
niche.
That's his own niche, like basically. Someone says what he's doing is designing thumbnails. But the way he said it, YouTube thumbnails, but the way he said it, it's not like, oh, I'm just designing
I'm a graphic
thumb.
designer.
No, there's a way well, like, there's a way he put it that even me, I was like, what's this guy doing? That kind of thing.
Mm,
So, but that's
mm,
basically what he's doing. Someone was asking him, designing thumbnails, do you really have jobs in it that much? How many people are going to, like,
almost.
no,
That's the real bread
he's
right now,
asking
Seth.
him like, do you work with one person or do you work with more than one people? Because if
Uh,
you work with one person, for instance, the person might have like one YouTube in a week,
just one
rolling out one
template.
YouTube
Oh,
in here.
okay.
No, like
Yeah.
even if you're doing all the designs, they'll have one YouTube in a
Yeah.
week. And so just like you said, they might already have had a template. So just for you to just keep doing that, then within how many minutes have you
Preach.
are done? So how do you really make money from it? But you didn't really go into that, I don't think. So, but it's
But
something like what I'm trying to
that's
say
a
is
really
like,
good example. Yeah.
yeah, but they've chosen their niche and they've stuck. That's what they're going to stick to, and it's not something that right now people are like going into so much.
I
Or people
mean,
know so much.
I feel like this thing is drawing us to this conversation we don't like having, which is, should you be a multidisciplinary designer? Because like you said now, the only reason why that thumbnail design thing I feel is able to feed this person you're talking about, I'm not sure, I'm just guessing,
Mm,
is because social media is the hype right now.
yeah,
Social media was not this hype maybe
yeah,
20 years ago. You didn't have this much people having YouTube channels. You didn't have
yeah.
this much people doing video essays. Beyond even YouTube, go to
I don't think. Okay, the way I look at it, right,
uh,
is that it's
yeah,
instead of saying you're something multidisciplinary, I would say
yeah,
we're supposed to keep evolving with the time. For instance, that was why I've been looking
truly.
for. Even though I've been looking for that stuff. I'll still look for it and say it. The guy started
Okay, the
with
thread.
yeah, because the guy started with something else, and
Yeah.
like before, let's just say for instance, before all these AI things, he was starting with different kind of design, but then
Mm,
when things kept
evolving.
evolving and he couldn't keep up because obviously not that he couldn't keep up, he couldn't keep on what he was doing because right now that means he's not really changed. Nobody needs his services anymore. What happened
Mm.
was he had to like change his whole idea and then just like got into a new niche where he designed where he resigned for because he's old now. So he resigned there. That's what he's
Mm.
oh that's that yeah, that's what he was doing. So, but the guy was saying that if all this while I've been sitting down here, I've been searching for that thread. It's on Reddit. I saw it, but I've been searching for it. I haven't found it. I
I
don't
still
think
don't
so.
understand. I don't think I
Exactly.
understand the
So let's say he has been.
points yet. Yeah.
Let's say the guy has been doing like let's say he's doing um graphic design, for instance. But
Mm-hmm.
that's not.
Yeah.
It should make sense, but just make it make sense anyway, please. Let's say he was doing graphic
Okay.
design, but
Okay.
like in a way where he's designing with let's say the olden days was designing with his hands, for instance, was drawing. Let's say he's drawing, but now let me
Yes.
just use drawing of graphic design. Let me say he's draw with his hand. But now
Yes.
nobody really needs that because AI can just draw those drawings for you like this.
Mm.
So now instead of
Mm-hmm.
him to keep saying I'm drawing or whatever, he now evolved into designing. It's the way he said it, like designing silhouettes for movie people, like
Mm.
yeah, for movie people. So he's no longer like just
Mm.
drawing things. He's like he have moved on to a different, not like to a different thing, but he just like
And
specialized in a more modern way of saying. So
exactly.
it's like you have to
Exactly.
just keep on like evolving instead of just
Mm.
say for instance, now that we're here, we're saying UX design is it a dying? You know, we're asking that is it a dying field or not? You know, instead
Yeah.
of instead of asking those questions, you're going to ask of, is there a way to evolve with the times? Like, is there anything else to
And
specialize in?
this is
For instance,
beyond, and this is beyond using AI. Like it's not, we're not saying, oh, you have to use AI. Like it's just, is there just
no,
a different way of evolving from what you already know
no,
as a
but,
designer?
or you could say things like, okay, this AI is the craze now. What kind of role can I evolve as a UX designer that would still make sense? For instance, instead of designing screens, can you start designing conversations, designing chatbots, this kind of things?
Mm,
So
mm.
it's still kind of like evolving with the time. You're still a designer, but you're no longer like, oh, I'm only just designing screens or whatever.
I'm only
You are
just a
now,
user experience designer.
yes, you cannot position yourself in the AI world as someone that is um an expert in something that you can also keep working. So it's just about evolving. I don't think it's
So
about
that means, wait, Elsie, you know where I'm going with this? There was one episode where we were asking, where I asked, I think I was the one who asked you that, should we be multidisciplinary designers? It was the time when the brand designers were saying that they can take a product designer's job, if you remember. So I now
uh
asked you a question then that, oh, I was enjoying the gist on the timeline, then I now stumbled on Oimbo Twitter, and those guys were now saying that, oh, all of you call yourself UX designers, that you are just like you are just playing that in the past, everyone was in like everyone used to just do all types of design, whether you're designing a font or you're designing a website, you can do all of it. So does it mean this is where we should, and that time when I asked you the question, I think we both hissed and we're like, what do you mean? You want to pay me less, you want to do that. But now it now looks like that's where we should actually be heading towards, where
that's not what I
any tool they give you or anything you can adapt to it and do something. You can do something. Is that it?
no,
Is that where we are heading
that's not
towards?
what me I'm saying. But for one to do that,
Okay.
you have an option to do that. But what I'm saying is like that's an option that you can basically whether you have to be multidisciplinary or not, it's still something that you yourself have to determine, yourself. Like you have to make that
I
decision
mean,
for yourself.
I think this goes
But
without saying. I'm just asking you, like,
no, I know.
just
I'm just saying.
that goes without saying. Yeah,
Yeah. I'm saying it generally. Because even if you don't want to be a multidisciplinary designer, for
designer.
instance, you can decide that okay, now I'm a UX designer. That means even if you're a UX designer, what are you doing in UX design? You could have been research. You could have not been research. You could have not been drawing things. Let's say you're only drawing things in artwork. Well, I'm just being as basic as possible. This is only drawing things, and then you know that usually now that AI is now like the center of the universe and everything is about AI. Instead of fighting against and just keep saying, "Oh, I'm still a designer. I'm still doing this and that," and people are saying, "Oh, it companies might no longer need designers because they can use AI to just design websites, design things in like very fast."
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So instead of you
yeah,
to
yeah.
just sit down like that and say, "Oh, I'm still a designer," or just cry about it, you can also like evolve. It's not about learning. different things. It's about choosing a new niche that
So
is
evolve
relevant
by
now.
specializing. Evolve by
Specializing, that's the word
specializing.
ahead. You can decide
Perfect.
to
Perfect.
choose a new niche
That's what I
that,
was asking.
yeah, that's the word for it. Yeah, you're
I
right.
think maybe me, I'm the one
Not
making a
specializing. I
mistake.
think, sorry.
Not specializing
No,
again.
not, no, I'll say not just specializing, like we specializing, because you
Okay.
already specialize in something else, but now I'm choosing a different one to also like specialize in, basically. But yeah, you get the gist of
Okay.
the whole thing.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I think I'm the one who is making a mistake about being a multidisciplinary designer and being a designer who specializes in something. I think those
Yeah,
are two different things. Like
yeah.
multidisciplinary is, oh, you can do motion design, you can do interaction design,
Yes.
you can do prototyping, you can do journey mapping, service mapping. That's multidisciplinary. And like you said, you're right. If you want to do that, go for it.
Uh-huh.
But specializing, like you said, now is different. It's like you're evolving. You're still carrying your UX, but you're carrying it into an industry
Uh-huh.
that they don't really know about UX like that. So
Yeah.
that's and one of those could be the government. Carry your UX into the government. Carry your UX into pharmaceutical packaging or your graphic design into pharmaceutical packaging. I think yeah, that makes more sense to
Yeah.
me now. So
Yeah.
you're going into places where it's niche there. Design is niche. You leave the place that is oversaturated already.
Yeah.
That's like app design,
Yeah.
website design. Leave it alone. Go to
That's
other.
true.
This
You're
makes
right.
sense. This makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think this is a
I
good
just saw
message.
one now that said their own is winery design. Bro, I'm not sure that it's on winery
Mad.
design. Do you know
Oh
what you're
my
doing?
god.
They're
Wait,
designing
tell me. I don't
packaging,
know.
promotional material, sometimes labels,
Yo,
for wine, like crazy
do you
though.
know this is crazy actually because I used to really, really like how do we say? I used to find girl over wine. Like when I used to work in Sainsbury, I worked
Yeah,
in Sainsbury
yeah.
where I used to
Uh-huh.
like shop for people.
Yeah.
So when I get to the wine section, and we have to work fast. We have a clock. You have to pack a number of items
Uh-huh.
against
Yeah,
a
yeah.
certain time. When I get to that wine section, that's where it used to slow me down because I'm admiring the design of the wine. Like I'm like, yo, who did this? Like it's a whole thing, but obviously, I think that one would require maybe sculpting. You might need to do some sculpting. You might need to do
I
some like
think
you might
that's
need
if
to
you're
work
no,
with.
I think that's if you're sorry, I think that's if you're
Yeah.
designing the bottle itself, but from what you're saying, I think assuming they
Yeah, but
meant like
the bottle and the packaging, they flow so well. Like you feel like it's the same person that did everything. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah,
sure.
wine
It's
redesign
possible, sure. I don't
is
know. That's
something, man.
interesting. Is yeah,
It's
and I
something.
agree with you because I bought wine before just for package and the wine inside was shitty to me. I don't like the taste.
Bro, me,
But
Steph, me, I don't
the
like alcohol,
packaging,
but I can buy it because I don't like
yeah,
the
the
way it
packaging will
looks.
make you like buy it, but it's just like every other thing anyway. It's good packaging. Oh yeah,
And that is design. But we're
yeah,
not a lot of us we're not thinking that we're not thinking that we just I want to be a brand designer that designs posters. It's already done. Like it's done and
right,
done. That's
yeah,
why the tweet, yeah, I didn't mention that in the beginning. I saw one tweet by a very brilliant, by the way, very brilliant visual designer. I don't know if they're a brand or graphic designer, but he made a tweet and said we need more brand designers. And I saw this, I was like, really? We still need more brand designers like this? Really? Maybe he was trying to say like we need better brand designers, which is a different argument. But to
different,
say
yeah,
that we need more brand designers, I don't think
yeah.
so, man. I don't think so. It's already that field is oversaturated already. It's
Like every other
oversaturated.
design field that we know of.
Like it's
Yeah,
oversaturated. There's a lot. The sky is very wide. It's very wide. Anyway. Um, one final thing on my mind is a
okay.
question that I still cannot answer, which is a question that this conversation brought us to. What makes someone a designer? Because if we kind of run through everything we've been talking about today, Elsie, I hope you agree with me.
Uh-huh.
It seems there's a kind of ladder or pyramid. I don't want to use ladder or pyramid because I don't want it to seem like one design skill is better than the other. I'm not really saying that, but it kind of seems like there's a spectrum. Yeah, let's say a spectrum. On one end of the spectrum, we have the visuals. You have UI UX. No, not UX, UI, maybe graphic design, poster design. branding designer, all those kind of things. You have them at the visual end of the spectrum. And then on the other end of the spectrum, you have the structural or the invisible, which is where you have people like designing or thinking about how to solve a problem for human beings in human context. So that's where you have things like service design, transport design, architecture. What else do we mention? Wayfinding. I think wayfinding will be in around the middle. So you see the spectrum. So you have, someone is structural and also on the visual end. You have public design, you have policy design. What else? What else? On the other structural side of the spectrum.
Mhm.
So this spectrum, I'm looking at it now and I'm like, someone could say, ah, but the people on the structural end, can we really call them designers? They're not giving me anything with a visual output. So how are they still designers? That anything I'd say that the service designer can do, a program officer in an NGO in Lagos, for example, is already doing it. So should we call them designers? Another example is uh where I used to work. Now there was a guy in our sales department. So his own job is to go and look for people that will buy our products, that will subscribe to our product. That's his own job. And he has a process. He used to do it manually before, where you would just go, you go on LinkedIn, you look for someone that, oh, this person might need our product. Oh, let me message him. That was his own process before. But then he now
Mhm.
did a lot of like he did a lot of the way I would describe it, he did like design thinking to it. He first defined a problem with his current process, you know. He looked for the pain points, he looked at his journey, he looked at how it can be easier for him, how he can bring in AI to automate some of the process. Like he really did a whole like redesign of his
Mhm.
process, which kind of counts as design, right? So
Yeah.
is it okay to say that my guy now into a designer? So it makes it a bit vague, like or hard to answer. Like, oh, what now makes someone a designer for real? And I don't know how to answer the question. I don't know how to answer this.
Interesting. Interesting question, to be fair, because you could say like you yeah, like you could say like you could say someone that maybe we have proper education for it, but the people that don't have like people have transitioned into design without proper what's the proper education? I mean like going to school kind of education. They just taught
Taking a
themselves,
course, yeah.
yeah, just taught themselves, like took a course by themselves anyway, and then
Or the people that just have
transition.
common sense.
No,
You know,
I
some
don't.
people just
I
say it's
will
common sense. You don't
no.
agree?
I don't agree. The reason I don't agree with
Okay.
common sense design is because there's still some principles that you need to know about design. No matter the design you are doing,
Yes,
no matter
that is
the
so true.
that's one of the things that so then even if you are doing
The
branding, even if you are doing graphics, even if you are
psychology
doing
aspects.
it doesn't
Yeah.
matter, even if you are doing architecture, there's still some principles behind it. Because if you say you can draw, I not every person that can draw for artist is an architect. There's a reason for that.
Mm,
Because you can't
mad,
just,
mad, mad.
yeah, because there's principles behind what they are drawing. So they are drawing things that
Yes.
will hold humans. For instance, if they're drawing a house, and so they can't just, it's not about drawing a fine house. If they're putting so many
Mm,
things into play, like thinking about how this one will hold this one, how this one will hold if anything happens, if
mm,
the wind blows. So they're thinking all those kind of things. So you have
mm,
to learn those things. It's the same way every form of design. There's always like principles. Some people know how to dress, for instance, in fashion design. Some people know how to dress, some people know how to put things together, but they can't call themselves like but they don't know
mm,
color theory, for instance. They don't know color theory,
mm,
but they don't know ninja. But just know that if I put it together, I look good, that's all, and they keep going.
mm,
That's different from suddenly someone come and say, I'm a graphic designer, I'm a fashion designer, whatever. There are things that will go into that. So for me, I don't think common sense can make you a designer in any
mm.
way. Basically, I feel like you
I,
have to
I I
have,
completely agree.
yeah, I feel like you have to
And I
have
now
some
feel
form of
smart.
I feel like that's some form of education. Even if it doesn't mean you have to go
Mm.
to school
Or
for it. Like you
literacy.
don't have to. You don't have to go to
Yeah.
school. I feel like the argument will not be what kind of education would you need to get
We do
for you to
need.
now be
Mm.
here. But it's not. I don't think you always have to for every
But the
design.
thing is just, you don't have to go to design school for years. Like if you want to learn
That's what I'm
anything in this
saying.
day and age, yeah, I'm agreeing,
Yeah,
yeah. Like, you
yeah,
can always find, yeah, it's just if you are ready to learn. That's just
yeah.
the thing.
You're
So
right.
So I guess
Yeah.
it's still an open question. If you're listening and you know the answer, what is the one thing I would say, oh, this is what makes someone a designer? Now that we've hopefully opened up your understanding, if you weren't before, open up your understanding of what it means to be a designer, beyond just designing a poster or designing an application screen. Now,
Um,
what makes someone a designer?
I just wanted to run this up by actually defining
Yeah.
what, because I read this thing here, I want to do my research, and I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually what is design. I actually wanted to know what design is, because a lot of times we just think because me, I was thinking, what's design actually? Because
Oh,
that's why
this
we're
is not
talking
what
about
a designer is. Now, this is what is design itself.
what is design itself. Because I was thinking, that's what I was
Okay.
thinking of, to find
Okay.
out what is design. And I like this
Yeah.
one that it's from the Design Council of the UK, Design Council of the UK defined what design is. And basically, I just like how simple they defined it. They say design
Mm,
is what happens when people use solve problems. And so he said
mm.
computers and coffee cups, skyscrapers and socks, everything not made by nature has been designed. So it's like everything
Yes.
that's in money has been designed, which I just like,
Yes.
it's so encompassing when you talk about design. And so they might not have designer in their name, but they might still be doing that kind of work. Um, for instance,
Mm.
an architect is a designer, but they don't have, it's not architect designer or whatever. They're just architect,
Yeah.
but they're still
Yeah, which
designing.
is why if you go to our Substack, we have a Substack, by the way, designgist.substack.com. If you go to our
Mm.
Substack, just for our listeners, you will see that one of our first stacks is from an architect's space. Like it's an architect's platform. They talk about buildings and
Yeah.
my H factor,
Over.
man.
Over.
Urban planning, urban planning, city
Yeah.
planning. So it shows that we are in the same spheres.
Yeah.
So don't anyone trying to reduce design to just, oh, we design a poster. Yo, it's
Uh-huh.
beyond all that. It's beyond all that.
Beyond it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I really love this definition you gave.
I do.
Mad, 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 mad.
Mm.
It answers, it
It
says
just
that, oh,
answers a
it's
lot of
encompassing.
questions.
Yeah, it's encompassing.
If you say, is
Just
this a
when you
design?
were saying it,
Yeah.
sorry, I'm going to bring back my conspiracy theory. I brought it up one time in one of our episodes. I knew you weren't having it, but I'm going to bring it back. What was even the episode? I think it was about the one about airpiece where we're talking about how the user experience of flying to Nigeria.
Uh-huh.
So we're not trying to was it that episode? Anyway, when we said that in that episode, we're talking about why is it that when we talk about design in the Nigerian or African context, maybe you Google it or you're talking about it with anyone, their first thought is always about craft. It's always about Ankara, Adire,
For sure.
fashion
Mm.
exactly. Things that are things that are very decorative, not not not
Yeah.
about problem solving. It's not really about problem solving. It's always about decorative stuff. So, just because you define that thing you define now, I'm appealing to every designer in Nigeria, in Africa at large, in our continent. Go, please think beyond decorative, think beyond visual appeal. Though that is how do I say it now? Obviously, obviously very important. You can't even, in fact, you can't do it. You can't do it without the other, right?
Uh-huh.
Think think beyond the aesthetic and also think about solving a problem. That's like the one thing I want to leave us with, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. For people who want to switch to different niches as well, that's a whole other, round of questions to ask. Like, okay, I'm tired of being a brand designer. I want to be a service designer. How do I start? I guess these are some questions people might be having as well. Elsie,
Yeah.
the open questions we said, yeah. So, I mean, we can always open that up or expand on that in other episodes because we've spent
Yeah.
enough time on this
Or
on this episode
or
today.
my put it on our subscribe, who knows? So you have to check that one out on it. Yeah,
Nice,
it could be a
nice. I like
written.
that. I like that actually. I like
Yeah.
that. We could put it on some stuff. We could put it there. So
No.
yeah,
However, my own thoughts is that
round it up. Yeah.
yeah, my own thoughts is that yeah, at the end of the day, like if you're
Hmm.
trying to get into design right now, you shouldn't be thinking of UX or UI or whatever.
I
Look for
swear
what
to
is
God.
to be honest. Look for there are still unsaturated parts of design that is not there. And
Hmm.
if you're already like us that are in the UX design space already, you can or not just in design space already, you can decide to like
Mm.
specialize in a different, more unsaturated part so that you will not be struggling or thinking of
Honestly,
the job market and everything. Yeah, I think that's it.
honestly, because yo, I was just going through salary index. This is a little ad somehow. I don't know the guy, but the tool helped me, so I want to plug it in. It's called
Wow.
salaryindex.ng. So it's a tool that kind of aggregates or gives you information about the salary of each role, any tech role in Nigeria.
Yeah. And
So I
that's
just said, let
nice.
me even but if you go there now, just search for the salary of user experience designer. And I was saying 100,000. And I was like,
Per month?
sorry? Yes, so per month,
Oh,
100,000,
wow.
120,000. I was like, it's not funny, oh. It's not funny. But anyway, also it depends on the company, I guess. Like, if it's a
125K.
fintech or something. Sure, you
Oh,
see now, 125K, 120K. So you really don't want to be doing user experience design. That cannot feed your family.
oh, but that's
So
entry
it's
level. I think,
specialization.
is it entry
I said
level?
I'm seeing mid level, even senior level. I saw 120K. I'm telling you, even senior level, I was seeing 120K. I was like, But to me, Sha, that just shows me a society that does not really understand the essence of design that isn't inherently visual. They don't understand the essence of the structural end of the spectrum. They are only focused on the visual end of the spectrum. What is the visual? What can we quickly see? What's so attractive? What's so inviting? It seems like that's what we are kind of focused on. And it explains the world we live in. I'm sorry to say. But yeah,
Yeah.
let me come out of my conspiracy theory bag a bit. Yeah.
Put, put, take off your tin foil hat or
Let me
whatever they
take off
call
my
it.
tinfoil hat, I swear.
Let's go
Hey,
back
my
to,
AirPods are dying. My AirPods are dying. Anyway.
we are
Our
ready,
social
running off, Abby.
media segment. Yeah, we're running
Wow.
our social media segment anyway. Is that also tied to this conversation? GoLemon is no news by now that GoLemon has stopped their operation. I think they've already stopped maybe last Sunday. I'm not sure. But for people who don't know, GoLemon used to be a service. Yeah, it's a service that
Yeah.
provided people with groceries without them having to leave their house. So you can just take your phone, tap in what you want from GoLemon, and they will source it for you and bring it to your doorstep. That was what it was before I left Niger. When I was in Niger, I think I used to see those types of apps like Eden Life. I know Eden Life, and I was always praying that I can't wait to blow so that I can have money to patronize these people, but apparently they are all not functioning anymore.
Wow.
So yeah, that's the social media part. I'm sure,
Yeah.
anyone listening who cares about all this kind of thing, they've already seen all the takes and all that. But we found a Substack uh by an economist. His name is Ridwan. So why do I keep looking away from the camera? Anyway, we found a Substack. Someone wrote like the way he wrote it, you know how they say post-mortem, where you are trying to, like an autopsy, where you're trying
Yeah.
to find out what killed something. His
Oh,
own seems more like a pre-mortem, where he's telling you that, oh, this business should not have even existed in the first place because of certain ethnographic factors. And as designers, I felt like this is a very important conversation to have had. Like, or if there was that structural problem framing, that like, I'm not saying this is what would have saved Golem or me. I don't know. There are many things involved, but
yeah.
it was a very interesting substance to read as a designer. And should we tell them, Elsie? Should we tell them? We've not locked it in yet.
Yeah, we just give them like, oh, should we
Tease.
leave it? See,
No,
yeah.
let's say it now. Let's say it. Basically, we
Give
want to
them
have it
a
come
tease.
on. I want to have the guy come on, or don't let me say the guy. I don't know if he's one big guy like that. The
God
man,
knows,
let's say
just
the
the
man.
man.
Wants to
Yeah.
have the man come on to design this podcast very soon to
Wow. So
help
that
us
means we'll
unpack
have our first guest.
very first guest.
That's great.
Woo! You see, this is why we need the confetti. We don't have the confetti
Yeah,
on
that's what
here,
we mean
but yeah,
professional.
yeah. Our very first
Yeah.
guest. So
Oh,
I'm actually I'm scared, but we can just take it like
scared,
our user interviews
excited.
now.
Yeah.
That's why, man. Like, we can take it as, when we do our user interviews or something. It should just be
Yeah.
like, oh, wait, then he's not our first
Conversations.
guest.
That's
He's not our
true.
first
That's
guest
true.
now.
That's true.
Tunji
That's
was our
true.
first
Nigerian
guest.
was first guest. Oh, that's true. Actually, forgot.
Tunji was our first guest. Oh, look at us. Wow. Guest number two. Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah. So that is that. That was the little piece of news I wanted to share.
I think that's all.
All right, then. All right. It's been wonderful. This is where we are
Yep.
leaving it for tonight. For today. It's not a
Yep.
night time. Obviously, if you have any thoughts on what we've said today, if you agree with us, you disagree with us, if you think we missed something very obvious, please drop it in the comments. Hit us
Yeah.
up wherever you're listening. Use our product thumbs up and product thumbs down hashtags, whichever works.
Mhm.
Yeah, and do the usual. Like, subscribe, share with a friend you think this might resonate with. And that's it. That's it from me.
Follow us on every social media
Oh
platform.
yeah,
We're on
please.
X, we're
It's
on
true.
TikTok, YouTube, Substack now,
Oh yeah, we're on Substack. Yeah, we're
and
on
then every other
Substack.
place you listen to
Yes,
your Spotify, sorry, listen to your podcast, we are there.
your podcast. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. All right.
Okay.
Bye. We'll catch you in a
Bye.
couple of weeks. Bye, bye.
Bye.